Every morning, you open your eyes. It's a brand new opportunity to craft the day ahead. It's a blank canvas on which you get to paint the kind of experience you want to have. Yet far too often, we find ourselves surrendering that power. We let outside factors take control of our inner world. The traffic, the weather, someone else's bad mood, or a minor inconvenience can throw us off course. But what if I told you there's a way to reclaim that control? What if you could train yourself to behave as though absolutely nothing can shake you, regardless of what life throws your way? Sounds unrealistic, right? Let me show you otherwise. We've all heard the classic saying, don't sweat the small stuff. But here's the truth. Your mind doesn't really distinguish between big stuff or small stuff. To your brain, it's all just input, events, signals, and you have the ultimate say in how you're going to interpret and respond to those signals. Think about it like this. Imagine you're driving and someone swerves in front of you, cutting you off. Instantly, anger flares up, your heart pounds, maybe you shout some choice words, and before you know it, your whole mood has taken a nosedive. By the time you reach your destination, you're already carrying the weight of that moment. But pause for a second. What actually happened to you? Did your car get hit? Were you physically hurt? Most likely not. It was merely a moment, an action that your mind registered as a threat or an offense. Now, I'm not saying reckless driving is acceptable, but I am saying that you have a decision to make in how you respond. You can allow that brief interaction to hijack your entire emotional state, or you can teach yourself to respond as if it didn't faze you at all. Here's what happens inside the body. When we perceive something as unpleasant, a chemical reaction kicks in. Our fight or flight mode gets activated, our emotions surge, and we lose access to clear, rational thought. But what if, right at that moment of the emotional surge, you could step in and interrupt that pattern? What if you could override the automatic response? It's not always simple, but with intention and repetition, it's entirely possible to train your body and mind to remain steady and grounded no matter the trigger. When I say act as if nothing gets to you, I'm referring to cultivating what I call the ultimate life force traits. These are qualities that let you remain anchored and powerful in your own center. You're not reacting, you're consciously choosing your response. One of those core traits is imperturbability, the ability to stay calm, steady, and undisturbed in the face of anything. It's the opposite of being reactive or easily thrown off. It means you trust in your capacity to stay grounded even during storms. Another essential trait is unflappability. When you're unflappable, you move through your experiences with grace and ease. The chaos around you doesn't dictate your inner calm. You're no longer swayed by every wave of emotion or setback. And now you might be thinking, this sounds inspiring in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you embody these traits in everyday situations? It begins with awareness. You must become acutely tuned in to your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations in real time. Notice when that emotional spike begins to build, whether it's irritation, frustration, or anxiety. Recognize that sensation for what it is, a signal, not a command. In that split second, you're presented with a decision. You can let that emotion carry you away, or you can pause, take a breath, and choose to disengage from the automatic reaction. Try this simple practice. Next time something aggravates you, pause for a moment and become still. Feel your feet on the ground, take a deep breath, and repeat to yourself, I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm choosing to stay in control of my inner state. Speak it out loud if you have to. Let it become your mantra, your anchor back to a place of calm. At first, it may feel a bit awkward or forced, and that's okay. Just like learning any new skill, it takes repetition and patience. As you stay committed to this practice, you'll start noticing something incredible. Situations that once triggered you will lose their power. You'll begin navigating your days with a lightness that feels liberating. What used to feel overwhelming becomes just another moment, another choice point. You stop identifying with every negative reaction and instead become the observer, choosing a higher response. But here's the magic. When you start acting as if nothing can disturb your peace, your external world starts to shift too. The people and circumstances that once felt abrasive won't affect you in the same way. It's like you're tuning into a different frequency, one marked by calmness, composure, and clarity. Life doesn't necessarily get easier, but you become more masterful in how you meet it. To arrive at this place takes consistent effort, but the return on that investment is immense. Start by watching yourself throughout the day. When something small goes wrong, maybe someone says something snarky, or your plans get derailed, or your coffee spills, pause. Observe the emotion arising without feeding it with thoughts. Don't judge the feeling, just notice it. Then choose your response with intention. Tell yourself again, I am choosing peace. I am in charge of how I feel. Let those words settle in. It might feel mechanical at first, but it will become more fluid with time, and gradually you'll notice your natural state returning to calm more easily. Those traits of imperturbability and unflappability will become part of who you are, not just ideals, but lived realities. Of course, life won't stop presenting challenges. There will still be moments that test your limits, but the more you practice, the more resilient you become. You'll find yourself navigating life's turbulence with far more ease and strength than you ever imagined. You won't be so easily knocked off balance. Your inner calm will no longer be at the mercy of whatever happens outside of you. So make a promise to yourself, a vow to become the kind of person who stays grounded regardless of circumstance. Begin developing those powerful inner traits that enable you to move through the world with steady strength and poise. This won't be an overnight transformation, but with ongoing practice, you'll begin to feel the shift. You'll start embodying a level of presence and composure that impacts not just your life, but also those around you. And here's something to remember. When you cultivate that kind of presence, you become a light for others. People will feel your calm, your steadiness, your quiet confidence. They'll be drawn to you, not because you're pretending nothing bothers you, but because you've learned to respond to life from a place of genuine empowerment. You'll become a living reminder that peace is possible, no matter the chaos. One of the biggest stumbling blocks we encounter on this path is the stories we tell ourselves about what's happening. We get wrapped up in mental narratives, how unfair something is, how wrong someone was, how much this always happens. And the more we feed those stories, the stronger the emotional charge becomes. That charge disconnects us from clarity. It makes it almost impossible to stay composed. The solution is to separate yourself from the storyline. Just observe the event for what it is without all the interpretation. Go back to the earlier example, someone cuts you off in traffic. The mind wants to jump in. That person is so careless, or now I'm going to be late. But those are just thoughts, interpretations. If you instead strip it down to the objective truth, a car moved into my lane, you remove the drama. No accusations, no assumptions, just the plain reality. From this place of neutrality, it's far easier to remain steady. You don't take things so personally because you're not making it about you. You're not layering the event with meaning that fuels your reactivity. You're simply present with what is, responding from awareness rather than from habit. Another incredibly powerful approach is to start seeing difficult situations as training opportunities. When something triggers you, ask yourself, how can I use this moment to strengthen my ability to stay composed? Think of it like going to the gym for your inner world. Every emotional challenge becomes a chance to build your resilience. Rather than reacting with dread or annoyance, meet the moment with a sense of curiosity. So when something frustrating happens, don't resist it. Lean into it. Think, perfect, here's my opportunity to practice staying calm. Approach it with excitement, like an athlete would when facing a tough workout. This mindset shift changes everything. You'll begin to welcome challenges as part of your growth, and they'll no longer have the same hold over you. Over time, you'll see that those knee-jerk emotional reactions fade, you'll catch them sooner, and you'll be able to redirect your energy more efficiently. You'll begin responding to life rather than reacting to it. The same situations that used to leave you feeling shaken will now barely register. And that's when you know you're living from your center, from a place of deliberate power rather than unconscious reactivity. The journey to becoming imperturbable and unflappable is one of the most liberating paths you can take. It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending that nothing ever affects you. It's about consciously choosing how you want to feel and who you want to be in every moment. With patience, consistency, and dedication, you can cultivate a way of being that feels grounded, centered, and utterly free. And every time you're able to remain unshaken, it strengthens those mental circuits and makes it easier the next time. Speaking of mental circuits, understand that when you're actively working to shift long-held habits and emotional patterns, you're quite literally reshaping your brain. Those familiar connections that used to ignite anger, frustration, or agitation don't have to stay intact. You can form fresh neural routes of calm composure through repetition of new responses and thoughts. Then it takes dedication, but just imagine how liberating it would feel to no longer be ruled by your automatic reactions. Imagine being able to move through life's inevitable highs and lows with grace, steadiness, and a deep sense of peace that can't be shaken. That's the power of learning to act as if nothing bothers you. As you begin to live from this space more consistently, it won't just influence how you deal with outside situations, it will also transform how you relate to your inner world. You'll begin letting go more easily, forgiving without resistance, and releasing old tensions and grievances. Life itself begins to feel lighter and more fluid. Ultimately, acting as if nothing can shake you is about taking complete ownership of your emotional state. It's the realization that you're not at the mercy of your environment, but are constantly shaping your world through your frequency and energy. When you start showing up from that place of inner calm and strength, you begin to attract more of that same steadiness back. The people and circumstances that once rattled you won't even register on your radar anymore. You will have risen into a more elevated way of being, one that no longer fuels or feeds off old reactive energy. I encourage you to dive into this practice wholeheartedly. Approach it with dedication, patience, and even a bit of playfulness. Treat every encounter life throws at you as an invitation to develop and refine your calm-inducing muscles. Keep affirming to yourself that in every situation you hold the choice. The road might not always be smooth, but let me tell you, it is absolutely worth traveling, because what lies beyond is a life filled with empowerment, clarity, and a serenity that's truly priceless. One key idea that helps us stay unbothered is remembering that nothing that happens to us is automatically good or bad. Those labels are just judgments based on our experiences and beliefs. Events are neutral until we assign meaning to them. Think about something like a safety cap on a medicine bottle. To a child, it's just an annoying barrier stopping them from getting what they want. But to a parent, it's a crucial safety measure protecting their child from danger. Same cap, to very different interpretations, based entirely on perspective. When we can learn to view situations with that kind of neutrality, it becomes far easier to act as if they don't affect us. Because in truth, they don't, unless we let them. It's only when we get entangled in our mental storytelling and emotional programming that events begin to feel like problems. This doesn't mean we should suppress our feelings or become emotionally cold. Emotions are a natural part of being human, but we can choose to engage with them in a new way as passing experiences rather than persistent states that define us. The next time something stirs an emotion in you, whether it's irritation, sadness, or anger, try a new approach. Don't fight it or push it away. Instead, simply notice it like you'd observe a cloud drifting across the sky. Let it be what it is. Maybe you feel a tightness in your chest or a rush of heat in your face. Just allow those sensations to exist without attaching a story or judgment. Let them rise, crest, and fade like a wave returning to the sea. You'll find that when you stop clinging to the story behind the emotion, it passes through much more quickly and with less intensity. That's how we begin to reclaim our power. That's how we learn to act as if the external world has no control over our peace. Because here's the truth. Nothing outside of you can actually disturb you unless you grant it access. Triggers only have power because we've given them that power, often unconsciously, over years of habitual response, but that can change. Right now, in this moment, you can decide to reclaim your energy from those patterns. You can choose not to engage with those familiar reactions. Everything begins with recognizing that the source of control lies within, not in anyone or anything outside of you. As you build this awareness and inner strength, you'll start to notice two big shifts. First, things that once irritated you or pushed your buttons won't even faze you anymore. Events that used to feel like major disruptions will become mere blips that you quickly move past. And second, on the rare occasions you do get momentarily unsettled, you'll find your way back to your calm center far more quickly. The emotion won't stick. It won't seep into your entire day or affect other areas of your life. You'll bounce back to balance swiftly and with ease. One of the most powerful outcomes of cultivating this unshakable mindset is the immense amount of energy you'll conserve. All the emotional charge and tension you use to pour into stress or frustration becomes freed up. Just think of all you can create, accomplish, and experience when your life force isn't being drained by reactivity. You'll have greater presence, deeper insight, and more personal strength to put toward what really matters. Your relationships will improve as you show up grounded and non-defensive. You'll make decisions with clarity rather than impulse. In many ancient traditions, the highest state a person could achieve was total inner calm, to stay composed, centered, and clear no matter the outer situation, be it gain or loss, comfort or pain. The wise understood that in this unwavering presence, we become the true architects of our experience. We stop reacting to life and begin responding with intention. We no longer allow chaos to dictate our state. Instead, we lead with conscious choice. This kind of presence isn't just powerful, it's transformative. It shifts your entire existence. Of course, reaching this level of self-mastery is not instantaneous. It's a journey that takes repeated effort and attention. But here's the beauty. You can start that journey right now. This very moment is all it takes to begin. Set your intention to act as if nothing shakes you, and let each challenge serve as a training ground for building that strength. Every situation becomes an opportunity to refine your resilience and deepen your calm. Every trigger becomes a gift, a reminder to anchor deeper in to peace. And the more you commit to this way of being, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, it won't be something you have to think about. It'll be how you live, poised, steady, and centered by default. Your actions will flow from that grounded place. Your words will carry the energy of calm authority. Your presence will feel like a steady light in a chaotic world. From that place, your life becomes a reflection of clarity and wisdom. You create harmony rather than contribute to disorder. So stay consistent, stay curious, keep practicing, keep choosing peace even when it feels difficult. Celebrate when you succeed and be gentle with yourself when it feels hard, but never lose sight of the fact that you are capable of mastering this. You are capable of becoming someone who is truly unshaken by external noise, because when you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, you're doing more than just learning emotional regulation. You're stepping into the highest form of self-empowerment. You're reclaiming your sovereignty. You're living from your deepest truth. And that, more than anything else, is the real work of a lifetime. It's the journey worth committing to. A life of clarity, strength, and unshakable inner peace is not only possible, it's already waiting for you to say yes. So continue walking the path, one conscious choice at a time, one breath at a time. You are becoming who you were always meant to be, calm, clear, powerful, and truly free. We are the conscious awareness beholding all those transient phenomena. Thoughts arise and fade, emotions swell and subside, circumstances constantly shift, but our essential nature remains unaltered, a field of pure potential, untouched by the dance of impermanence. When we anchor ourselves in the recognition of our deepest, most fundamental self, the world around us shifts in hue. The challenges, frustrations, disappointments, grievances that used to shake us lose their weight or magnetic pull because we recognize that they're merely passing visitors in the infinite expanse of our being. They emerge, we observe with open curiosity and acceptance, and eventually they dissipate. Like clouds drifting across a vast open sky, our unshakable essence remains calm and clear. This isn't a form of escapism or spiritual avoidance of genuine human emotion. It's the reverse. By releasing unconscious resistance to changing phenomena, we open ourselves to experiencing everything with a fresh, vibrant depth that's otherwise impossible when we cling to reactive patterns. Think of moments you've laughed until tears came, felt waves of profound gratitude, or gazed at new life with awe. In those moments, were you preoccupied with an earlier offense or that rude driver? No. You are fully immersed in the present, alive, unguarded, and free. That is the essence of acting as if nothing disturbs you. Not a closing off, but an opening, a radical embrace of whatever this moment offers, untainted by past conditioning. When we sit from that freedom being fully present and undisturbed, something within us remembers the reality of who we are, an ever-present field of consciousness that cannot be truly shaken, no matter the intensity of change swirling around us. It becomes clear, this is our true home. From that grounded space of awareness, our entire perception transforms. Events and triggers, once heavy and solid, now feel insubstantial, pliable. We engage with them from a place of creative flow and deliberate choice, no longer hijacked by old mental grooves. And as we continue reinforcing this new way of being, the interwoven layers of energy, emotion, and physical reality adjust in kind. Just as mind shapes matter, the steady state of our awareness begins to reshape both inner and outer life. Effortlessly, situations that previously disturbed us no longer manifest because we aren't vibrating on those reactive frequencies. We've recalibrated to a plane of harmony, synchronicity, and creative mastery. People who once triggered us may still cross our paths, but it's as if they're speaking in a language we've outgrown. Their energy merely skims off our centered, imperturbable presence. No fight, no avoidance, no engagement necessary. We allow them to pass through our space, unbothered and untroubled. This is the alchemy of grounding our identity in the deepest layers of being. External conditions may swirl, but they no longer dominate the unalterable tranquility of our essence. From that invincible space of equanimity, we become forces of nature, ourselves, not battered by life's winds, but powerful centers that harmonize them into greater order, creativity, and blessing. This path is not a departure from being human, but a full integration of who we are, vulnerable, feeling beings of flesh, and also eternal, boundless awareness cradling it all. Let us tread this path with humility and patience, savoring the profound stillness available in each moment regardless of external turbulence, for it is through this ease of being that we unfold into our highest human potential and become the steadfast lights the world needs now. When nothing disturbs us, we become the unwavering presence and clarity that helps dream a new reality for our world and all beings. That is the power and privilege of this journey. I will meet you there on the unshaken shores of possibility. One essential shift on this journey is to move our sense of identity from the personal egoic self to the vast transpersonal field of awareness. While we remain anchored in the illusion of separateness, we perceive the world through that conditioning, us versus them, which fuels so much of our suffering. But when we loosen our identification with the separate self and align with the broader field of consciousness, everything changes. Triggers and turmoil lose their sticky energy like riptides losing force in the ocean's expanse. This isn't a rational process of convincing ourselves to accept undesirable situations. It's a direct reorientation of our very presence, like tuning into a new radio frequency. Where the ego tries to control, the transcendent eye of spirit simply witnesses. It allows everything to unfold naturally without grasping at pleasure or avoiding discomfort, without rejecting or holding on, like a leaf carried on seamless currents of wind. We relinquish habitual control and become open vessels for the ceaseless blooming of life itself. This is no small feat. Our ego conditioning is millennia old, reinforced by repeated forgetting of our true nature. Undoing those ancestral knots requires unwavering dedication, tenderness, and patience. One powerful practice is to pause repeatedly during your day and sense into the open, spacious awareness present right now, before thoughts define it or feelings color it. There's a simple, pristine presence, the pure subjectivity witnessing this experience, unbound by content. Can you sense the unconditioned awareness, sustaining every thought, sensation, perception? That is your being, older than the universe, younger than this present breath. When you temporarily step back from beliefs, memories, preferences, labels, what remains is the clear field of your awakened nature, held in that vast space. Experiences that might normally disturb you have far less pull. You begin to feel them as if watching a live performance, rich, dramatic, enjoyable, even while remaining anchored in untroubled awareness. Thoughts, emotions, circumstances become guests within abiding presence, not burdens or prisons. A natural buoyancy emerges, allowing them to come, to go, to be as they are, without weight or fixation. From that centered state of open acceptance, your true creative potential arises. Unshackled by resistance, you become a channel for higher harmonies and deeper creative possibilities. The universe flows through you like music, orchestrating symphonies of sacred unfolding. This transformation does not mean that intense emotions or pain never return. Quite the opposite. You may experience them more vividly and richly, without suppressing or filtering them through old habits. Only now, the context has shifted. You can hold and feel intense experiences within the vast, unshaken openness of your being, like watching a dream with clarity and centered presence. However vivid, all is being dreamt within the seamless continuum of consciousness itself, which means you suffer less, dwell more deeply in presence, and open each experience as a revelatory homecoming. Through it all, a deeper realization dawns, the understanding that the peace and wholeness you've long sought were never outside of you. They were never separate. They are the very core of your being, hidden only by layers of conditioned beliefs and mental projections, rooted in the illusion of a separate self. The ultimate homecoming happens when this recognition doesn't just remain a concept, but flowers into the direct, lived experience of your eternal, unshakable nature as the one self, ever present and boundless. So keep returning to that source awareness, that silent center of presence throughout your day. Let it be the open embrace in which everything arises, dances for a moment, and eventually dissolves back into. Steep yourself in its unwavering calm, its undisturbed acceptance of all things. And from that spaciousness of radical, non-dual embrace, begin to act as if nothing truly disturbs you, not out of apathy or spiritual denial, but because you've come to directly see the glowing truth of the infinite and eternal within you. Every experience, no matter how intense or emotionally charged, is now welcomed back into that vast, all-encompassing ground of being. This is the natural unfolding that our souls are attuned to, the gradual flowering of our already enlightened essence. Challenges still come, discomfort still visits, but like a force of nature, we meet them with steady wisdom and indestructible presence. This is the lived expression of the sacred, and in a world drenched in confusion and reaction, it is also the greatest healing balm. So we walk this path together, not hurried, not forceful, but with complete devotion to resting in that unbothered, immeasurable expanse in which all appearances come and go, dream after dream. In doing so, we discover that we ourselves are the very source we've always longed for. We are the groundless ground, the open sky that invites all storms and sunrises alike. Our light, our peace, quietly ripple outward, not through grand declarations, but through presence alone, ushering in a new dawn of clarity and sacred self-knowing. We hold the power to be that stabilizing, transformative presence right here and now in every unfolding moment. And all that is truly asked of us is this: to act as if nothing in essence can ever truly disturb us, not because we're numbing ourselves, but because we've remembered we are the home, the sanctuary in which all experiences rise and fall, embraced eternally, loved beyond condition, and never separate from what we truly are.